for our weekly Chairman's Update. Uh, it's spring. It's a lovely day. You can see the flowers are blooming all around the Capitol. Unfortunately, what's going on inside continues to be a challenge. We're at that part of the legislative session here at the state capitol in Olympia where the talk and the debate and the work has turned very specifically to budgets and taxes. You've probably been reading or hearing about the number of new state taxes that the Washington Democrats are promoting. This includes the so-called wealth tax, which is an expansion of the existing state capital gains tax onto assets or investments that aren't capital gains yet because you haven't sold them. It's something we predicted when the Democrats first proposed and enacted the state capital gains tax, and it's just a bad idea that's growing rather than shrinking. The interesting piece on the so-called wealth tax is it's a holdover bad idea from the Inslee administration. The new governor, Ferguson, has indicated he doesn't support it, which is a promising thing. Initially, the progressives inside the Capitol had backed off the so-called wealth tax, but now they put it back into play and they're proposing it again, which is something of a kind of calling the bluff of the new governor. They're testing the new governor and his resolve. He had a press conference earlier this week saying that he is going to oppose the wealth tax, but then he left a little weasel room in it saying, well, maybe if it's smaller, I might support it. So it's the usual game playing going on here. But watch that potential tension between the far left progressives in the legislature and the new governor who's trying to carve out a reputation for being more moderate. That will be interesting to see how that tension works. There are other bad tax proposals too. For my money, in my opinion, the worst of the other tax proposals, and maybe the worst of all of them, is an increase in state property taxes. You may have heard about this one too a little bit. The current automatic increase in property taxes in the state of Washington is 1% a year. Local jurisdictions can increase property taxes by 1% a year with no vote of the people. The progressives under the dome here want to increase that automatic no vote increase to 3% a year, which at first sounds like it's not very much, but if you do the compounding math on it, it can be quite a bit. And more than anything, taxes, and especially property taxes in the state, are already too high. So this proposal is increasing the rate of speed at which too high property taxes are getting too higher still. The increase in property taxes takes the form of a couple of kind of interconnected, somewhat similar bills. The latest kind of cutting edge or point of the spear on this bad policy is House Bill 2049. And in some ways, House Bill 2049 is a new version of a previous bill that was filed to raise property taxes even higher. It recently had its committee hearing, and the progressives are going to try to push it forward. I'm still encouraging people to sign in online, and we'll have a link down below where you can do that to say no, to sign in con against House Bill 2049. You know, it's really true that this boost in property taxes in our state is getting to the point where people are getting taxed out of their homes. Even people who've paid off their homes, who don't have a mortgage anymore, are still suffering under these property taxes going up and up and up. And I'm hearing from people all around the state that their property tax bill is as high as their mortgage payment, and they're struggling to make those payments. And lastly, by signing in con to these property tax increases, you're also continuing to put pressure not just on the legislature, but on the new governor. And the new governor has shown that he is susceptible to pressure about some of these taxes. So that's a good thing. I encourage you all to stay engaged as PCOs, as county party officers, and keep the word out that we're fighting all of these tax increases here at the Capitol. Now it's not just taxes, of course. There are other bills and ideas and proposals running through the Capitol here that are trouble. There was a bill, a state Senate bill, 5068, that would allow non-citizens in Washington to become police officers, law enforcement officers, to become county prosecutors, in other law enforcement related positions. It's not a good idea at all. The state Senate was very much in favor of it, but we in the House are fighting hard against it. And I've been hearing a lot from Republicans around the state who are concerned that there were Republican state senators who voted for this Senate Bill 5068, and very angry. What I'll say is this. There were some reasons that those senators voted for that bill that have to do with some support in the law enforcement community for it. But as we've shined a light on that proposal to allow non-citizens to be police officers and law enforcement officers, more people have realized it's a bad idea. So some of this was just an information campaign. We needed to alert people to what that bill really was doing. And I think you're going to see, I mean, if it does go through, if it comes through and goes to the floor of the House for a vote, I think you're going to see a much more spirited debate and a much tighter vote on the House side. It's a bad idea, and I think people are getting wise to the fact it's a bad idea. We also have a bill that is kind of a catch-all bill coming out of the state Senate that partly has to do with some tax increases, particularly around transportation-related things. So it raises the gas tax a little bit more, but it does some non-tax things related to transportation, particularly around our ferry system and how you pay for a ride on a ferry boat and how the ferry system is managed. That it's hard to characterize it other than it's very anti-maritime. It's very anti-boats and ships and anything related to the maritime industry in Washington, including our ferry system. That's another one where I'm getting a lot of phone calls and emails from people saying, why would any Republican support this kind of bill? And again, it's a matter, I think, of information. I think some legislators aren't fully briefed on what some of these bills entail. They'll focus on a single part of it and not look at the bill as a whole. So we need to keep the information flow going. I need to keep information about these bills and taxes and budgets flowing to you. And then you need to get the word out to the people in your precincts, the people in your counties, about the mechanics of some of these bad bills. And it's more than just these weekly video updates I do. We're posting things on our website, on our social media, and in the WaGOP portal every day, multiple times a day. So we have become a very good flow of information about what's going on here at the Capitol in Olympia and what's going on back in DC as well. You can use the WaGOP portal to get information and spread information to people so they know what's going on, and we don't get these crazy bills where we have Republicans supporting bills that run against the Constitution or run against conservative values. So I will continue to encourage you to use the information resources that we have for you as part of the WaGOP. They're good, they're getting better every week, and they're more available to you through the portal than they've ever been. Anyway, that's it for this week. We're fighting particularly against raising any taxes, whether it's the wealth tax or the property tax increases or the payroll tax increase that the left is proposing or the B&O business tax increase they're proposing. Our position is no new taxes in Washington State. We're taxed enough already. Let's just hold our budgets close to the current levels, and let's let the economy grow and grow us out of the current projected deficit scenario here at the state capitol. That's it for this week. I'll talk to you again soon. Until then, be well and stay strong.